Everyone, this is Professor Heaton. Today we're going to be talking about thesis statements. Now, this video is not assignment specific, which means that for whatever assignment you're seeing this video for, you're going to have to use it to fulfill all the requirements that the assignment is asking you. So I'm not speaking directly to any specific assignment. I'm just telling you how to compose a thesis statement based off of what I have discovered to be the best way to teach it to my students. So as I'm saying this, you might have never heard this language before, and that's okay. If you've had previous English classes in the past that have taught you how to compose a thesis statement and you're thinking you are the best thesis statement writer in the history of writing, congratulations, students. Don't fix what isn't broken. So here's how I teach thesis statements. I teach that every thesis statement with these three letters, TAD. And the way I think about it is that every argument, every essay has a little tad of thesis, just a little Salt Bay, little tad of thesis, just a little tad, of thesis, a teeny tiny tad of thesis. Make sense? So that's what you got to think. Every paper, every essay has a little tad of thesis. So what is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is going to explain what the argument of your paper is in 1 to 2 sentences. Usually. That's not a hard, set, fast rule. I know that you've probably had English teachers in the past that have said that your thesis statement must be 1 sentence. And honestly, a 1-sentence thesis statement is something that you should shoot for. It's the best way to make sure that you have a really succinct thesis statement that makes your argument very powerfully and very quickly. Now, once again, let's say that you start taking more advanced classes later on in college and you've got to write a 20-page paper over the nature of religion or something like that. That's a really complex prompt that you have to answer. So you might have a really chunky thesis statement. In that situation, it's okay to have more than 1 sentence for your thesis statement. That's fine. But if you can make it 1 sentence and it can be fluid and it can sound good and it can cover everything that you're going to talk about in that paper very succinctly in broad terms, by all means, do your best to make it 1 sentence. That's what we're going to aim for. We're going to aim to compose a 1-sentence thesis statement. But once again, if you've got to break it up into multiple sentences, it's not like, the essay writing police are going to come break down your door and handcuff you or something like that. Okay, now, your thesis statement must respond directly to the prompt, and it must be specific. And what I mean by the prompt is just whatever the assignment is. So your assignment might ask you a question like, I know for some of my assignments you have to answer the question, should we all be feminists, in response to Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's argument? Or you might be answering a question like, does our criminal justice system operate under injustice or something like that? Or I'm trying to think of other texts that we write responses to, something like, does school kill creativity? So think about all those questions. Now, if a question forms our prompt, then what we have to understand is that our thesis is the answer to that question. So what you're doing with your thesis statement is you're answering the question that is proposed and you're answering it specifically. So if I asked you, do schools kill creativity? You might respond with the statement, schools kill creativity because whatever. That's you answering it specifically. So now let's get into TAD. So here are the 3 things that a TAD thesis will include. The first thing is a topic. So what the paper is about. This is super, super simple. Whether that's education, feminism, criminal justice system, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, sushi, baseball, whatever it is that you're writing your essay over, that is your topic. Now, the second part of that is your attitude. This is where you infuse your topic with your own opinion. So this is your stance, the argument that you are going to make throughout your essay. Okay? This is what makes it interesting. You're not writing a report. That's something that's pretty rare that occurs in education nowadays. You're not just giving me information, you're actually building an argument to persuade me of your opinion. And your attitude is where you infuse that topic with your opinion. So feminism is a worldview that we should all adopt, or feminism is a worldview that has enhanced the livelihood of women, something like that. I'm just coming up with examples off the top of my head. Okay, now, going back. So the last part of your thesis statement is your details. This is where you're going to take your argument, something like Flamin' Hot Cheetos are the best chip ever, because, and that's where you narrow their focus, your focus, and you give me specific reasons why you think that. Because they have the best flavor, because they have the best texture, and is Chester the cheetah? Chester. That sounds right. Because Chester the cheetah is a boss, right? Whatever. All right. So those are the three parts. So now let's go into each one of those specifically. So the topic, once again, this is what your paper is about. Hummus, prison industrial system, vegetarianism, Donald Trump, coffee, immigration, the border wall, Flamin' Hot Cheetos. This is the easiest part because usually this is done for you. You're responding to whatever the prompt is. Now, lots of times in my classes, you're going to be writing about things that are kind of controversial because it forces you to develop an opinion and think critically about a particular idea. So if that's the case and you're writing about something that makes you a little uncomfortable, if it's a little bit weird, that's okay. That's all right. Don't worry about it. It's just a way for you to explore your own ideas. And I'm not going to shun you for your opinion or anything like that. It's just a way for us to think about these things. Because if we can't do it in college, where can we do it? All right. So that's the topic. That is the T of TAD. Now, moving on from topic, obviously we get to the A, which is attitude. So this is your opinion of the topic. So in my PowerPoint here, you're going to see that the purple are all of the topics. Now, what I'm going to do with those purple topics is I'm going to infuse it with my own opinion of the topic or a hypothetical opinion. These aren't necessarily my opinions. And I'm going to put that attitude in orange. So hummus is the new ketchup. And hummus is delightful, isn't it? The prison industrial system is disproportionately harming marginalized people groups. Vegetarianism is beneficial. Donald Trump is or is not worthy of impeachment. This is old, by the way. Anyway, coffee is an art form. Immigration is or is not a means to a better country. The border wall is or is not necessary. Flamin' Hot Cheetos are the best of all Cheetos. Okay, now, what you'll notice, what I'm doing here with the orange, is I'm making my topic into an argument, meaning that reasonable people can disagree with me. So if I made the argument, hummus is the new ketchup, you could disagree with me. And that would make sense, because reasonable people can disagree with me there. If I said something like, vegetarianism is beneficial, you could disagree with me. Reasonable people can disagree with that statement. And that's what the attitude does. It makes it an argument. So for any basketball fans out there, I'm a huge basketball fan. I love the Mavericks. So if you're a basketball fan and someone says this around you, LeBron is the GOAT, which means the greatest of all time, you know people are going to go crazy because that's just how that conversation works. LeBron, the topic, is the GOAT, winds up becoming my attitude, and that's the thing that makes it into an argument that people can disagree with. Okay? Make sense? So your attitude will usually, it pretty much is always going to begin with a verb, right? So if you see what I mean, you look, hummus is, prison industrial system is, are. So your attitude is always going to begin with a verb. It doesn't have to be with those to be verbs like am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, has, had, have, I don't know, the others. You can be something like, hummus illustrates the beauty of Greek cuisine or something like that. Illustrates would be the verb there. Or reading novels creates a healthier livelihood. Creates would be the verb there. So your attitude is almost always, in fact, I cannot think of a circumstance in which it would not, is always going to start with a verb. Okay? All right. So lastly, we have the details. The details here. So details are reasons for supporting your opinion. So I would recommend having at least 3. So I've got kind of a sample thesis statement here. I'm just walking you through it. This is me just kind of going off the cuff. So a vegetarian diet, that's going to be my topic. That's in purple here. By the way, I formed this after reading a book about vegetarianism that my friend gave me. So don't take it as me trying to like persuade you or anything like that. So a vegetarian diet, that's my topic. Now I need to infuse it with my own attitude or opinion. There's my verb, beneficial. So now I've got an argument. But what a lot of students want to do is they want to put a period right there and say that they're done with their thesis statement. And that's the number one mistake I see students make. They don't make it narrow or specific enough. So what you need to do is you need to give me reasons as to why you think that. And one of the best ways you can do this is with because. Throw a because at the end of your attitude to start your details. Because, and then give me reasons that essentially are going to be the reasons that you are going to explore and unpack in your essay. So, a vegetarian diet is beneficial because it is humane for animals, healthier for consumers, and cheaper than a meat-based diet. So those are my 3 details or 3 reasons. And all of that together would be my thesis statement. It would be the response to the prompt or a question that asked, what is your opinion of vegetarianism? Well, a vegetarian diet is beneficial because it is humane for animals, healthier for consumers, and cheaper than a meat-based diet. Now, notice these details focus my thesis, and they're going to be the foundation of my body paragraphs. So if you read this thesis statement, you know that these are the 3 main ideas that I'm going to unpack in my body paragraphs in my essay. Now, it doesn't have to be a simple one-to-one correspondence. I don't necessarily have to have 1 paragraph for each of these. I can use 2, 3, 4 paragraphs to unpack those ideas if I want to explore different nuances of those ideas. Okay? Now, the more specific your details are, the easier your paper is going to be to write because you're going to know specifically what to write about. A lot of students will start saying, a vegetarian diet is beneficial because you don't kill animals and you don't get sick, you don't get the meat sweats. I think it's healthier for you, right? It's not focused. You're just all over the place, right? If you have strong, specific details, then you know precisely what you're writing about. So you're not looking at the blank, blinking little line on a Word document going, what the Hello Kitty do I write? Okay? Now, the details portion of your thesis will often begin with because, by, or through. Now, do they always begin with those? No. Those are just 3 really good words to get the ball rolling. So after you've given me your argument through the attitude portion of your thesis statement, give me a because, a by, or a through if you're struggling. Okay, so here's a really simple way to think about thesis statements. Blank, which is your topic, is blank, which is your attitude, because blank. That's a thesis statement. Blank is blank because blank. That's it. Isn't that delightful? I just changed your life forever and ever. Okay, so thesis statement. Here's the prompt. Should we adopt a vegetarian diet? We'll put me right here so you can see everything. Look at that cookie monster. A vegetarian diet is beneficial because it is humane for animals, healthier for consumers, and cheaper than meat-based diet. So that is my overall thesis statement. Now, the order of TAD is not important. Look at me, I'm dancing all around. It's not important. So you can rearrange these items in any way you want. You can do attitude, detail, topic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what order you have it as long as you have all 3 elements. Okay? All right, and so on our next lessons, we'll expand on this a little bit more. That's all I have. This PowerPoint will be available to you in the Lessons tab. If you have any questions, please make sure you contact me and let me know. And happy writing.